It is April 16th, 2026, and we are in the board meeting room. I'd like to recognize our visitors here and online and ask everyone to stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, that was adorable again. Those are just great. Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Engel.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Dr. Moore.
Here.
Mrs. Spindler.
Here.
Mrs. Moore.
Here, we have a quorum. We will continue. Item 2, presentations.
Adoption of agenda.
Oh, yep, we've got to do that first, don't we? I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Dr. Moore.
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler.
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes, that is adopted. Now, item 2, presentations.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Perkins and the school board for allowing me to share a little bit about the impacts of early learning tonight. My name is Jody Reichard, the Early Learning Center Administrator. Our preschool program currently serves 181 students, providing a strong foundation for early learning in a developmentally appropriate and inclusive environment. We support students across a variety of classroom settings, including general education, integrated classrooms that blend general and special education students, a specialized autism classroom, and itinerant services. This range of programming allows us to meet the diverse needs of all learners. As part of our commitment to preparing students for the next step, we focus on building kindergarten readiness through early literacy, numeracy, and social-emotional development, ensuring a smooth transition to kindergarten. This year, we are graduating 97 students to our district's kindergarten program. At the ELC, our student population reflects a rich linguistic diversity, with 32% of our students exposed to 2 or more languages in the home. We embrace this diversity by fostering language-rich, culturally responsive learning environments that support all students and families. In addition to supporting students academically and developmentally, we also recognize the importance of meeting the health and wellness needs. This year, students at the Early Learning Center were given the opportunity to participate in the mobile dental program, which provided important preventative care directly within the school setting. Through this initiative, students received dental cleanings, x-rays, and fluoride treatments, helping to support their overall health and well-being. By bringing these services on site, we were able to reduce barriers for families, increasing access to care and promote healthy habits at an early age. This opportunity not only supports students' physical health, but also reinforces our commitment to addressing the whole child and ensuring that every student is ready to learn and thrive. Alongside these supports, early identification and intervention are also key components of student success. The Help Me Grow program plays a crucial role in identifying and supporting young children with developmental needs prior to entering preschool. Through early screenings and family partnerships, children are connected to appropriate services as soon as concerns arise. This allows for a more seamless and a supportive transition into our preschool program, where individualized plans and supports can be implemented from day one. As a result, students enter the Early Learning Center ready to grow, and families feel confident and supported through the process. This year, 16 students transitioned from Help Me Grow early intervention students into our preschool-based special education services, ensuring that their needs were identified early and that appropriate supports were in place as they began their preschool experience. An important component of our commitment to student safety is our partnership with Project Lifesaver International. This program designed to protect individuals who are at risk of wandering or becoming lost. This initiative focuses on supporting some of our most vulnerable students by providing a proactive safety measure. The ELC referred 2 new students this year. We now have 4 students currently enrolled in Project Lifesaver. With this strong foundation of academic health and early intervention supports in place, I'd now like to shift our focus to a closer look at what makes our program unique by sharing the ABCs of the ELC, which highlights the key components that support our students' success every day.
Art made me happy. Bridges Math, we use games, pictures, and ideas to learn math in different ways. Club award for being good friends. Dentist came to school and checked my teeth. We care about our friends. I got strong hands. We can run and climb and jump. We learned where people lived. Education is for big and small. At school, we try new things. Care about our friends. L is for learning. Matman helps us to write. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We take care of our things. This keeps our friends safe. I lose my ears to listen. R is for rainbow. Taking turns is what people do when they are waiting for a turn.
Education is our passion.
AAC helps the world hear me. We love our mentors. X for exercise. We eat yummy food in school. We wash our hands and we have 0 germs.
Thank you for your time tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was great. Thanks, Jody.
Wolpert?
Okay, well, thanks for having me back. We're going to cover demographics again tonight. Am I?
It's just for the audience.
Okay. Okay, but they can hear me online. Okay, excellent. My name's Karen Jackson with Wolpert. We've been doing demographics reports for you for a handful of years now. So we're going to go over the 25-26 reports, first enrollment projections and then housing. Next slide, please. Next slide. So our enrollment projections use the cohort survival method, which looks at grades or cohorts of students as they move through the system from grade to grade, year to year. We take the ratio of students moving through the system throughout each grade. That's called a survival ratio, which I'll get into later. And we also look at resident live birth counts, not birth rates, to project kindergarten 5 years later. Along with this, we also take into account housing and various census data sets. Next slide. Perfect. So this slide is showing the births that have occurred over the last 15 or so years. The overall births have really varied year to year, but the one I really want to highlight is 2022. So 2022, there were more births than we've seen in the recent past. And that is going to translate to a higher kindergarten class 5 years later, which you'll see later on in the presentation and in the report. Next slide. So I haven't shared this data set with you before, but what this is showing is first the percentage of students enrolled in school within just your district on the top. within each age group. The next table down is showing the percentage of students enrolled in public schools. So it's like a percentage, the percentage of students of the top percentage. And then the bottom is showing the percentage of students enrolled in private school. And what I really want to highlight with this is that we have seen in 2023 and 2024, we saw a pretty big increase for ages 5 to 9 and 15 through 17 for students attending public school over private school. It's a trend that we're going to continue to watch. This data comes from the American Community Survey, so some families get a survey, I've never gotten one, that they fill out, so it is data that's updated annually. We weren't able to get 2025 yet. It usually takes a whole calendar year before they're able to get that updated, but it is an interesting trend that we want to keep watching. Next slide. So this table shows your historical enrollment over the last 10 years. Your enrollment has increased by over 1,000 students over the last 10 years. That's pretty significant. The table is colored to show highs, like higher class sizes in reds and lower class sizes in blue. And you can really see it starts out pretty blue and then it turns more closer to red as we get to 2025-26. Next slide. So this is just showing the students attending your schools, well, the inter-district transfers, so those attending from outside of your boundaries, as well as the number of homeschool students. So homeschool has increased, inter-district transfers have decreased over time. Next slide. So the survival ratios are what really, it's what we use to project enrollment. So this table, it's kind of a monster table. It's showing the percentage of students that move from each class year to year. So I've highlighted a couple cells. There are a couple things I want to point out. Between 2023-24 and then 2024-25 and 25-26, we did see a pretty big increase between students who were born 5 years earlier attending kindergarten. We also saw a bigger ratio from kindergarten to first grade and then first to second grade. So those lower grades, we are seeing higher ratios this year than we've seen before. Just something to note, the lower the grade, like our lower grades, they impact the projections a lot more heavily because those students make their way all the way through the system rather than like an 11th grade class that's just gonna leave in a couple of years. Again, this is a trend that we're going to pay attention to because if it is the beginning of a new trend, then we may need to start projecting differently. Next slide. So this is showing your historical enrollment on the left and then your projected enrollment on the right. We do provide 4 different projections, a low, moderate, high, and recommended. Typically our recommended is the most accurate of these. The recommended kind of takes into the art side of the projection, so looking at things like housing, looking at anomalies within the survival ratios, whereas the low, moderate, and high really are just formulaic. So I'm going to focus on the recommended tonight. If you go to the next slide. So we are, of course, projecting increasing enrollment over the next 10 years. Actually, I think by 2031 or 2032, we are showing your first class of 500, which is, wow. I mean, my husband graduated from here in 2010 with like 200 in his class. I was telling him that earlier, and he could not believe it. The other thing I want to point out with this is that kindergarten class in 2027, you can see that is a higher kindergarten class because of those births that occurred 5 years earlier. So really the whole trend of this presentation tonight is growth, growth, growth. Next slide. This just has a couple of notes about things that can impact projections. In your case, it doesn't seem to have, and none of these have really caused any significant drops or anything like that. But projections can and do change annually because trends can and do change annually. So these are things that we're paying attention to as well. Next slide. So moving on to the housing study. So this is typically the more exciting part of the presentation because people see houses go up and they wonder how this is going to impact the schools. Our housing study does use a different methodology. So we're looking at student yields, which is just the ratio of students per housing unit, rather than that cohort survival methodology. So in my little example street here, I have 10 houses and 5 students, so that's a student yield of 0.5. So everything you see here is going to be in fractions or decimals. Next slide. we do take this one step further and look at your student yields based on age of home. And what we've found is that after a home is built, it doesn't yield as many students as it could. Typically, we hear, oh my gosh, a house is going out, there's going to be 5 kids immediately, and that is certainly not the case. What we see is a lower yield when the home is first built, which then grows for about 5 to 10 years, and then it kind of tapers off from there. So we put this into a yield model that is on the right. Well, I guess I'll explain. On the left, that is showing your student yields based on both age of home and assessed values of home. And then on the right is showing that yield model, so really showing how the yields change as the home ages. Once homes get to about, honestly, like 30 to 35 years old, we really don't see that much fluctuation in student yield. It kind of tapers off from there. So once a home hits 35 years, we do apply a static yield of 0.27. Something that's a little bit different than last year. So last year we saw a trend of turnover. If you go back, between years like 15 and 20. There was just a little bump, so we were seeing homes turning over at a higher rate. This year, it's not as prevalent. So again, something that we're paying attention to, but we didn't see it like we did last time. Next slide. So this map just shows all of your existing housing. Anything in green is going to be a single-family subdivision. Pinks are going to be apartments. Condos, I believe, are orange. Mobile home parks in purple, and then townhomes, which you now have townhomes. Those are in blue, and more of those are coming as well. Next slide. So this is showing your yields over time. So apartments, you're yielding 0.24 students per unit, so about one kid for every 4 units. That really hasn't changed that much over the last 5 or so years. Condos, again, you're showing 0.06. This is pretty common to have a really low yield at condos. Not sure why, but that has always been the case, at least regionally. Townhomes, you're seeing 0.34. It does look like this is pretty different from before, but we added more townhomes since last year. So we had an influx of townhomes without the students yet to fill them. So there are so few units that 0.61 and 0.34 difference, I don't think that's very significant. Looking at your mobile home parks, again, these haven't changed that much. You're yielding 0.2 students per townhome unit, and then your subdivided single family has remained fairly steady as well, but it has gone down over the past couple of years. So we're at 0.49, it looks like now, compared to 0.43 or 0.53, we were in the 0.5s earlier. Next slide. Oh, something to keep in mind about the subdivided single-family homes, too, you have been adding more of those as well. So that number is likely going to continue to go up once some of those yields start being realized. So now we're getting to the exciting part, all of your developments. And wow, you've got quite a few developments going on. So this map is showing the developments. Anything in green is single-family. Again, pinks are going to be apartments, oranges, condos, and I can't read the map right now, but the other colors are in there as well. Next slide. And this map is showing a listing of all of the developments, as well as kind of like their stage, where they're at in construction, their estimated timeline. This is information we either get from the developer or the municipality. For any development that's like pretty early in the planning process where they really don't know, we didn't have information in there. A couple of notes about this. So the orange line, the village or the villas at Cumberland something trail maybe, they have yet to determine if these are going to be apartments or condos. So what we did is we applied the like average multifamily yield to those. And then something that's new, especially like in central Ohio, I haven't seen, I don't think any of these anywhere else. Broyles Farm and Eastwood Reserve, they're both going to be fully rental communities. So they're single family homes, but they're all rentals. So that is something that we're going to be paying attention to. I'm not, like I said, this is the first time we've seen communities like this, so I can't say for certain if it's going to yield more students or fewer students. But we'll be watching that because both of those are under construction. Next slide. So we also look at a build-out study, which takes your land use, any tracts of land that could be developed in the future and kind of projecting that forward, assuming that you're going to continue to get hit with developments after everything that's been planned and proposed is complete. So the map on the left is just showing the land use for all of your tracts of land. You're still very heavily agricultural. And then on the right, we're showing the tracts of land that have been identified as developable. We do look at things such as owner, adjacency to existing subdivisions. So we have some subdivisions that have a dead end road that just like butts into a cornfield. So the developer is very clearly thinking that they're going to continue building. So we do identify tracts of land that have a higher potential for development. We're also looking at infrastructure like sewer and water infrastructure, which Southwest Licking Sewer and Water District, they have been expanding. So those are considered to have a higher probability for development just because that's very expensive to install for a community, and developers don't often like to do that. Next slide. So what this all boils down to is, again, growth. So what this is showing is enrollment based on housing type. So that bottom section, that green section, is showing your enrollment forecasted for your existing single-family home. So you can see we're showing a downward trend, and this is pretty common. Most of your homes are on the far end of that yield model where they're declining in enrollment or already stable. So looking at that, we are showing declining enrollment. The next couple of lines are going to be your multifamily. Again, multifamily doesn't really change from year to year, so we do leave that flat. And then the lighter colors is where the development comes in. So the light green is showing the enrollment we're forecasting for your single family developments. And you can see that more than offsets the declining enrollment from your existing single family. And then the pink on top is going to be your enrollment from your multifamily units. That blue, both blue sections on top are kind of that build out portion. So again, if nothing ever gets planned or proposed after what's already been planned and proposed, we can just completely ignore that blue section. But what we are showing is growth for the next 15 to 20 years, and then it kind of tapering off from there. So the enrollment projections kind of take a shorter term look at things, but this is good information to keep on the horizon for planning purposes. Next slide, please. So you may be asking, how does this relate to facilities? So on the top, we are showing your utilizations, which is enrollment divided by capacity for compared to the enrollment projections. And then on the bottom is compared to the student potential. So as you can see, with your current grade configuration, so this is assuming everything stays the same, we're looking okay at the elementary level overall. The intermediate, middle, and high is where we're a little crunched for space. Both reports are showing similar trends with that you're overutilized at those levels as of now. And that is all I have. Like I said, lots of growth and continued growth. As we did add a couple more developments this year, as we do pretty much every year for you all. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the student yields for like the multifamily homes, are you able to, or do you have any data that supports, a portion of our community that tends to put multiple families in a home, which obviously would make the yields greater? Do you guys have?
We've worked with a couple districts where we see that. Overall, it doesn't typically make that much of a difference, like compared to the whole.
Okay.
But if it's happening in specific neighborhoods, that is certainly something we could take a look at. Like we worked with Licking Heights, and they have specific neighborhoods where they think that's occurring,
Okay.
and we could certainly look and see if there's trends to support that.
So, in general, the previous numbers, you actually underestimated.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, compared to last year to this year,
Right.
we were pretty close. I think we were like within 20
Right.
overall K through 12, but looking at like longer term, yeah, and that's because number one, we're seeing more births, and then those higher trends at the lower grade levels are really pushing us up a little bit more.
So you're actually increasing your projections.
Yeah, our projections increased this year compared to last year.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, we're projecting more students.
And that's not factoring in rentals, right?
It's not, no, the rental properties are kind of baked in with the homeowner ones, like we're applying the same trends
Right.
to those. And I would imagine we're already seeing students out of the Eastwood developments. I don't know if they're totally finished yet. I don't believe they are completed building, but they are starting to rent because there are students living there already, so we'll be able to
I drove
start
past
seeing.
Broyles Farm yesterday, and they have their signs out that says and it said rental, and I was like, oh, it was a surprise to me.
I think they're both American Homes for Rent.
Yes.
They
Royals
are.
Farm is
Yeah.
American Homes
Yes.
for Rent. I know
Yeah.
that for sure, but I
Yeah.
didn't know about the other location.
Did our max projected enrollment, did that get pushed out too? I think it said 2042. That, yes. Did I recall that last year it was in the 30s?
That's a really good question. I don't know that off the top of my head,
Okay.
but I can look. It may have, yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
2C, building and financial update, buildings.
Okay, so this is a presentation that Stacy, Rick, and I have been going out and doing to all the buildings. We've hit everybody so far except for Kirkersville and the bus garage. They're next up on our list, so going to their staff meetings. So just sharing a little bit of our growth, our funding, kind of letting everyone know where we're at, what's going on, and what are the next steps in the process. So all three of us are going to kind of tag team this. Go ahead, Jeff. So obviously you guys are well aware, but this is something that we're educating and sharing with everybody, how we go back in time and the history with the co-funded project and how it came to be that we have, community that talks about our buildings, these big, beautiful buildings, and how can they already be at capacity. And then, trying to make sure that our employees that haven't been here or are newer to our school district or our community understand that what the co-funded project did, how we shifted, building the South Fork as opposed to the renovation of the old Pataskala, and then how they determined the projections for how those buildings were built. Go ahead, Jeff, you can skip the next one too. So this is something that I like to share with everybody and I feel like really resonates. So this was the projection they had for this current school year, and you can see how our actual enrollment this year is almost 1,000 more kids. So they were significantly off. So these numbers are, what we've been sharing at our community meetings, what I'm trying to help, the entire school district understand. This is the reality of what was built versus, what we need in present time.
The OFCC was significantly off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were almost 1,000.
I just wanted to clarify that it was them.
OFCC, not us. We weren't able to do those projections.
Right.
That's not how it works. They do the projections, the OFCC, and they determine how the buildings are built for
And we
spacing.
communicated back to them that they were low. and
Yeah,
we
at the
requested.
time, that would have been Mr. Janelle, and
Yep.
yes, that was one of his big things that he kept telling them they were off, and he felt they were underestimating the
Yes.
size of our growth. And clearly, based on these numbers of close to 1,000, they were significantly off, and obviously more to come, as you just saw with Wolpert. Go ahead, Jeff. So then I like to put this up here, and the irony of this slide is the projected enrollment for both 32, 33, and 38, 39 are now higher based on what Karen just presented today. Obviously, this is created prior to us meeting last week, Wolpert and myself, but current enrollment projected in both those school years, trying to give everyone an idea of what's coming, right around the corner, a little bit further down the road. And then I obviously like to give everybody this example of our building capacities and where we're at. As obviously the board knows, we did the South Fork to help alleviate some of the strain in our K through 3. So that has been great. Obviously the 4 through 8 band, we are out of classrooms at the intermediate. We do have a few openings as far as kids, but again, if we had a whole class of kids, there's no class to put them in, there's no space, and they're already utilizing space that was supposed to be for small groups and those sort of things. Those are taken away too. So they're out of space, the middle school is out of space, and the high school obviously is over capacity as well. The same things that Karen just talked about. The one difference I remind people of is that we're able to alleviate a little bit of that strain at the high school because of the College Credit Plus, because of CTEC, late arrivals, early releases. But when you're talking that 4 through 8 band, there are none of those things. Those kids come to school all day long, and you can feel that and you can see it in the classes as well as during the bell change. Go ahead. So, I give credit to Wolpert, and I'm glad that we partnered with them starting in the 22-23 school year. They have been within a 99-point plus accuracy every year for their predictions. So I feel confident when we share these predictions and when we tell our community this is our reality, we do need more space. We are out of space for kids, specifically in those grade bands, and these projections are coming from, our partnership with Wolpert, and here is their accuracy they've had every year. That's, what we're looking at in that band. So these are 23 of our active developments and the projected students that come from the active developments. Obviously that's at complete build out, so a development may have various stages over the years, so that's what we have to base our capacity on and what we're looking at when we talk about what we need in the school district. And as you guys know, and you're more than familiar with, these are the developments we're currently aware of, and I'll have to modify this based on what Karen has presented, but this is not for, no different than the recent group that came to us. Why am I drawing blank?
HR.
Oh, dear,
DHR.
thank you.
Yeah.
About their 700 some homes, and then they withdrew
Right.
the application. Well, now they're back with 400 and some homes. So, things like that, or other ones that are in the works that you're seeing, or you're watching the various local entities, specifically like Aetna a lot of times is pumping that out. What's coming, what's being asked, those things aren't included. It's only the ones that are in various stages that Wolpert is able to get, the access for when it's going to be built, when it should be completed, all of that kind of good stuff. So these are the 23 that we currently have and that we know about. All right, we're going to tag Stacy in first, I think.
So I've been trying to educate the staff a little bit about school funding and how we receive our revenue. So we have three main sources of revenue as a school district. Property taxes last year, that was 44% of the revenue that the school district received, or a little over 30 million. So I try and tell them, anytime you see anything in the news about property tax reform, anything going on the ballot, or any petitions that you might hear about, it has a drastic impact on our funding. The state kicked in about 35%, or a little over a third of the revenue that we received last year at 23 million. And again, we don't always agree with the formula that they use or the numbers, but it is a significant source of income for us. And then the third big bucket is the income tax that the voters had approved here in this school district. Last year, it equated to around $9 million, or 13% of the revenue. So when you take a look at the FY25 revenue, total received at $68.7 million. Of that, 62 million of it came from these three sources alone. So again, over 92% came from these three sources. When people talk about pay to participate or rentals, the facility rentals, yes, that all does come in, but when we're looking at revenue, these three sources are really what's driving us. So one thing that we do pride ourselves on, though, when you take a look at total expenditures for the district, and anywhere in any given year, 80 to 85% of those expenditures are on staffing and benefits, as most of you know. But when you take a look at the total expenditures and then divide it by the number of students in our district, last year we spent a little over $12,800 per student, and that's in the lowest 5% of all public school districts in the state of Ohio. So we feel like we're very fiscally responsible with our funds and that we're providing a great opportunity at the same time for the students in the district. So Rick's going to talk a little bit about the 5-year forecast and when he submitted it in September, and then how those 3 House bills that the governor signed in December, what impact those had on his forecast. But you can see there, the February forecast, those 3 House bills, that was about a $34 million, $35 million swing. So he can talk about that.
Bills 129, 186, 335 had a major impact on our school district. One of the reasons why is, we are on 20 mil floor. We've been on 20 mil floor since 1996. We had a large property valuation increase, residential 40+%, and we have a substitute levy. All three of those combine to result in this impact to our school district. And as Dr. Perkins has said, we're one of the top 3% of the state impacted by these House bills, which has a significant impact. Jeff, next one, please. So the result of all this is, yes, the revenue is going down, and as a result, we're looking now from back in September, we were looking at about $1.7 million carryover in 2030. Now we're looking at a $21.1 million deficit. These are the same numbers I showed you in February forecast. So it's over a $22 million swing in cash, and available cash. So we're out of money in fiscal year 29 based on current forecast. One thing that was brought up in one of the meetings is, in February and the September meeting, I had 2% raises in there for the whole forecast. This February, there's no raises past next school year, and we're still $21 million in the hole. There's growth in our school district. We have additional staffing for growth, but that's about it. Next, please. Casey.
Okay, so what comes next? Go ahead, Jeff. So one of the things I'm sharing with everyone is our upcoming community meeting. I'm hoping to we've had a good turnout. I'm hoping to have a great turnout at this last meeting. This is going to be purely, small group talking points, sharing, again, really getting the ideas out and getting into the weeds of discussing, what other ideas do additional people have in the community. We might do a quick recap at the beginning just in case there are new people there who missed. But overall, we want to do a lot of conversations in small group work. So I'm telling everyone, if not you, who, is it your neighbor? Is it a friend? Is it a family member? Someone that you can ask to come and be a part of this day and a part of these conversations, because the more people that we can have and the more people that are listening and learning and helping with ideas that, maybe we don't have, the better we're going to be. So this is the first thing I'm sharing with people. And then you can go to the next slide too. Thanks. And then the key communicator program. So obviously we're looking for individuals that fit in really any mold. It can be longtime residents. We have some retirees that have gone through the training, current parents, future families, staff members. This is about helping be that bridge between the school district and the community, and helping get accurate information out, the facts, the data points, in different ways that the school district isn't able to. We have a retiree who has some small groups that she participates in and does things with, and they were asking some questions, and she's like, I don't have the answers. I need the answers. So these are the ways that we're going to be able to help feed this group of individuals the proper information to help share or help educate with others. So if you know people, if you have any ideas, obviously that's another way to get involved. Go ahead, Jeff. So what's next? So we're going to host the final round of community engagement in April, which I just talked about. Then I'm going to continue, tonight I'll be presenting the culmination from the finance meeting we had last month. Then I will give you guys next month as a board kind of the overall, here's where we're at. I will be bringing with you next month recommendations for addressing the capacity as well as financial stability. I'm going to present to you the what if scenarios. And then it'll be the board's decision, direction they want to go, and then you would need to vote in June, put the first resolution if you wanted to go on the fall ballot. So what I'd like to, go ahead and click this, pass the next one, keep going. So what I'm trying to help our staff understand is the position we're in. So obviously we have a capacity issue. We also have a funding issue, which we didn't have before. So it takes 3 years, as everyone's well aware of, to build a new school. 1 year to plan, 2 years to build. So we are 3 years out from a new building upon passing a bond. So, again, I will be making some recommendations, and just to start kind of putting your mind there and my thoughts, and unless something completely changes based on the April community meeting, I believe the recommendations I will bring to you will come with the what ifs, those scenarios that I would tell you I think we need to put in place in the fall of 27 if we're unsuccessful next school year. Again, that'll be your decision how you want to go with that. Then that brings the finances. And so what I'm sharing with people is that we basically have 3 opportunities. I mean, that would be significantly unfortunate if it took that long, but we have 3 opportunities to be on the ballot before we are in a really bad position. We're already in the position that because we're in the red, that we're going to have to present a plan to the state. It's a requirement in your forecast to explain how we're going to fix our funding issue. So we have 3 chances to get something passed with our voters to be able to help support the schools before we'd have to make financial decisions. And so what I want everyone to know and the staff to know, and what I've been telling people, is that next year it will be a challenging year because we're going to have to really help educate our community. That's the 26-27 school year. Nothing would change. It would be my recommendation in the 27-28 that we look at some building things and capacity things, which I'll be sharing next month. Then the following school year would when the financials would hit. So we're kind of on a status quo next year, capacity the following, and then the third year out would be the financials. So that's what we're looking at. And hopefully nothing gets worse. I've been sharing with the staff, there's a governor's race. I will share with you guys the same emails I send to the staff after I have this meeting as a follow-up. It has the links in there to the presentation. It also includes the link for the key communicators if you know one. And it also includes notes from a lobbyist we recently met with that shares the 2 platforms with the candidates running, so you can educate yourself on where public education stands and both of their viewpoints. So this is the situation we're in. And I'm hoping through some new ideas, I'm hoping we'll have some good ways to be able to help our community understand our situation and hopefully help support our schools. So, any questions?
So when you say 3 times to go to the ballot, are you talking strictly for spacing or finances?
I'm talking finances before we would have to make financial.
So you're
significant.
talking levy, not bond?
I'm talking we need both.
Okay.
But I'm talking, when I talk the 3 times, so I'm trying to separate it out, because what I don't want to do is, well, first of all, everyone knows, if you're watching, you're seeing schools all over are going through this. Pickerington's, facing it right now. Because they gave that property tax relief, now we have to go back to the voters. It's really super contradictory and makes 0 sense. So I don't want anyone to panic and think no one's gonna have a job. That's not where we're at currently. So we're 2 years out before any of those things would have to happen. And then we're 1 year out before we'd have to do any capacity changes. That's based on my configurations and what I'll be sharing more specifically. But we're unfortunately in a place where we need both.
That's what I thought. I just didn't.
Correct, you're correct.
And Rick, for yours, do we, with that 5-year forecast, did we have to include a plan for the state, or will it be?
Yeah, they haven't reached out yet, but they didn't see the 21 million. They only saw current plus 3. They didn't see FY30 yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
They'll see that in August. But I'm expecting them to reach out for the 1, because it's still showing $5 million in the hole.
Correct. Okay.
But they haven't reached out yet, so
Who's going to reach out to you?
it'll be the ODE, ODEW.
Sorry.
They're gonna reach out for a plan. And then they're the ones that put us in fiscal watch and then fiscal emergency eventually, potentially.
Knowing that there's public schools across the state that are doing this, what is their capacity? What are they?
I don't know, maybe that's why they haven't reached out, because there's too many of them.
That's what I would guess, that there's too many of us right now that are all running into the same situation because of this.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'm still expecting them to reach out, because they have in the past. Basically, they'll get another year. I'd say 21, I see they're going to probably put us in, them or the other state will put us in fiscal watch. Just because you're $21 million in the hole.
So, on that happy note, do you guys have any other questions?
See if we didn't.
I mean, there's gonna be more to come. I would get yourself mentally prepared for the May board meeting. I got a lot to share, lots of stuff going on.
Any other questions? Okay, item 3, request to speak, Teamsters Local 413, Southwest Looking Education Association. For approval of minutes, I need a motion to approve 4A and B.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes, that motion is passed. 5, fiscal report. Need a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
It's like the most important part. So executive summary is for month end March 31st. We did receive all, but we don't have Fairfield County's final property tax settlement, but it's not a lot of money. We did receive Lincoln County's. We expected it to be less than what we budgeted because we received more last month. So right now we are down from what we estimated. But I talked to Lincoln Heights, they're having the same issue. Like anybody in the past that's paid for a full year, if they paid for a full year, they held that half money back, the county did, so they'd have money for refunds. So
Gotcha.
I know us and Lincoln Heights and Granville are lower than we expected. So we also received our first our homestead settlement from Lincoln County. It's a month earlier than we expected it, so that's why it looks like we're $1.7 million higher than we expected. That was because of that, and we will see it. The estimate hit next month, and it'll equal out. Overall, we're doing very well. Revenues higher than we expected, and expenditures are lower than we expected. So that's good things.
Doing really well until legislature puts news in it.
Yeah. Be glad to answer any specific questions you may have.
Any questions? Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Engel,
Excuse me, yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes, that motion passes. 6, personnel consent, we have A through O.
Motion 6A through O. Second.
Okay, there are a couple things I wanted to point out, and then I'll take any questions you guys may have. So there is an addition of a job description on here. So each year, well, prior to the recent announcement of the House bills, we had 10 FTEs, but now we've reduced that to 5 additional staffing for growth, and we're going to try to make that work. And part of that, one of those 5 FTEs this year is addition of a technology person. So obviously we're pretty thin in that department. We have been for a long time. They've done a good job, but we have to, if we want to continue to maintain what we're doing in the classrooms and throughout the district, we have to have additional help. So originally we were looking to hire one of the techs. Through the interview process, we stumbled upon a gentleman who has a skill set, I'm not going to say equal to Jeff, but similar, and he brings things to the table that could definitely help Jeff and could split some things and have some shared responsibilities. It's a district our size does not have just one Jeff. We do, but that's not normal. So we're adding on or recommending to add on assistant technology specialist. So Jeff will still be over him, but he'll have the ability then to do some of the work that Jeff does, and we can start to delineate a little bit better what he is doing, Jeff, and so he's not always running around putting out fires and trying to problem solve. So that is where the job description and the salary schedule came from, and that is one of those 5 FTEs for this year. I also wanted to point out that we were super grateful for Dave Siebel joining our CURT team this year. He's decided to transition back as the guidance counselor. Joe and Carly at the WIS are over the moon elated to have him, super excited. And with that transition, I'm recommending to bring on Kyle Zuber. He is, I think everyone knows Kyle. He is in the audience tonight to join the CURT team next year as the assistant principal. And I've gotten to witness Kyle firsthand. This school year, he's been doing his internship, and he has been stepping up a lot and demonstrating, his willingness and ability to want to lead in this district. So it's nice to have someone homegrown, and he's super excited to take that role, and I appreciate him being here this evening. And I think that's it for, and obviously hiring, replacing teachers, retirements, all that good stuff. But that's it for personnel.
Any questions? Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes, that motion passes. 7, personnel, A and B. Need a motion?
Motion to approve 7AB.
I'll se-
Second.
I don't
Mr.
have
Jones?
this one, yeah.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Abstain.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes, that passes. 8 business items, we have A through D.
Motion to approve 8A through D. Second.
Any discussion?
Rick, do you want to share?
Yeah, so E-rate category 2 is for some switches. Jeff could talk more about it. Some core switches we wanted to change out at the building, and we actually got an unexpected quote from a vendor called Extreme that we've used in the past that have like a lifetime warranty on their switches and stuff. And it came in very well, and we're excited to get that. And on top of that, the second one, B, is MIBS, this is Managed Internal Broadband. So basically, it ends up being the same company going to do that too. They're going to help manage the switches, help us out if anything goes wrong, help with the transition. Anything I'm missing, Jeff?
They're actually going to come in and actually do the transition between the existing switchgear that was installed as part of the project and the new switchgear. They'll help us with any support issues, they'll get us onboarded, and they will be another level of support if we have any problems with the systems. So I feel like we're getting a really good value. And the switches, I didn't even initially include them in my bidding because they're a little more expensive than what the ones we were looking at. But when we actually got down to brass tacks, they will honor their warranty if we use the generic SFP modules, whereas the other manufacturers wouldn't. So we were going to lose the warranty on the other switches, whereas this one is literally lifetime. I've got 15-year-old switches in my office I can send back tomorrow. So we're really, really excited to have these in here. This will likely be hardware that will last for a decade.
Good. And then good thing about E-rate, we get 60% reimbursed from E-rate, so it's good. C is CWG. These are order of Chromebooks, 1,200 of them. You know, as Jeff had mentioned, he was telling Mr. Miller is that basically they're paying about $50 more a Chromebook this year over last year. And the Novos who we went with, and Novo were only, quote, one vendor, and then they won't do anybody else, so you can't really get a second quote from anybody else. But CWG had these in stock. They gave us like a week to hold it or they'll be gone. They were selling that fast. So we got it. We went and put the order in and we got them, but just wanted the board to come and ratify that purchase. Which, like we have over.
I reached out to Amazon, I've reached out to just about SHI, SCW, every other vendor I have used in the past, and every one of them basically told me they were out of stock. So once CWG kind of gave us a, hey, you have 2 weeks to get these ordered, after a week of not getting any other bids, I had to reach back out to him and just go with it. So.
And the other thing is 1,200 seems like a lot, but we have 7,000 Chromebooks in our district.
It is the Chromebook and the management license together for that price. So it is $240 a device isn't what I'd like to pay, but knowing with everything going on, shipping, RAM prices and storage prices, I feel like we've got a pretty good deal for this.
This is, do we kind of have a cycle of replacement
Yes.
of them? Is that what we're doing?
With the number we have now, we're roughly on a 6-year replacement cycle.
Okay.
Because we have 7,000 of them, if we can buy 1,200 a year, I'm basically able to cycle them out. And what we do is we look at the oldest devices in the district and we make sure we replace those first.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we kind of go through and it's okay, this classroom's they're not quite that old, but let's get them replaced because they're kind of beat up, so. The old ones get reused, we use them for parts, we use them in classrooms that don't test. You know, we try to get as much value out of them as we can before we finally recycle them.
And D is voluntary school accident insurance. They're required to have some kind of, if they're playing sports, they have to have some kind of health insurance. There's no cost to the district. If parents sign up, they pay the whole cost of it. It's something we do every year.
Any other questions? Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes, that motion passes. 9 agreements, we have A through C.
Motion 9A through C.
Second.
First one is Ray. They do our financial statements. June 30th, we have to prepare special financial statements. Usually it's GAAP, but we don't do GAAP. It's called lookalike. They've been doing it for the past.
Why don't we do that, Rick? Tell me, please.
It's called because it's too expensive to go to GAAP.
That because it's more.
It's like $15,000 more for one day a year, and that nobody looks at.
Who knew?
So they've been doing it for about 10 years. Again, this is a 3-year renewal of their contract who came doing it for us. They've done a great job. IntelliNet, so this is going to replace ClearGov. We tried ClearGov for a couple years for budgeting and so forth, and it wasn't working out. There was a lot more manual stuff we had to do, and it just didn't work out very well. So this one here is basically the program they designed is school-based only. Actually, Licking Heights Treasure is involved with creating this program and stuff. So we thought we'd give it a try a couple years, see if it does what we were expecting to do. Unlike ClearGov, I had to actually upload the data every time we wanted to update it. This does it automatically every night. It updates the data right from our county. I don't do anything, so it's a lot better. We're hoping it's going to work out better for the school district. And then Mac, do you want to say about that?
Just some summer service contracts for some students who receive use of the school year services.
Okay. Any questions? Mr. Jones?
Mr. Miller. Oh, sorry, Mrs. Spindler. Oop,
Yes.
wrong. Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes.
Dr. Moore.
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes, that motion passes. 10 treasurer's items. We have A through C.
Motion to approve 10A through C and A with the donations with thanks.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Again, A's are donations. We always appreciate those. B's, couple statement purposes we got in for towards the end of the year. C is kind of a unique thing. Lincoln County is requiring the school district to put a maintenance bond over the right turn lane that was just installed for a year. I thought it was included in the contract with the contractor who built it. It was not. And Lincoln County said that you can only come from the school district. So if you look at the invoice that Lincoln County created, it's 2 years ago because that's when we started the project. Now they're coming back and say, no, you have to pay it $21,000. They're going to hold it for a year. If they don't use it, we get it back. But if there's a problem with the right turn lane, then they're going to charge it off to that money. So it's kind of ridiculous as far as I'm concerned.
If they don't
We're not,
If they don't use it.
yeah, if they don't
We
use
had
it
to
to
fix
repair that right turn lane at all, we get it back. But I'm not happy about it.
No.
But they won't sign off on the right turn lane until we get that maintenance bond.
And what happens if they don't sign off on
Yeah,
it?
I don't know. I don't know what happens actually.
Like, what, they're going to stand there and not let anybody turn?
Sorry, you can't use the turn lane. You
Put
don't
up
have
tape?
Yeah, I don't know what they're
Parents are
going
just
to do.
gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. Well, they could affect other projects that haven't signed off on
Yes.
yet.
That's what I would guess would happen.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes, that passes. 11 superintendent items.
Okay, got quite a few things to share. Lots of good stuff. So I don't think they've put it on social media yet, but I wanted to share that Samal Amoa from the high school has been admitted and is going to attend Dartmouth College on a full scholarship.
Whoa.
So that's a huge deal. Majoring in psych and neuroscience on a pre-med track. And and she's been here since 3rd grade. So I think that's pretty amazing. Yes, super excited. Also, our Eco Warriors recently planted 100 tree saplings to create a pocket forest. So that's kind of between the high school and Smoke Road. That was in collaboration with, and Paula's here if you wanted to ask her questions, but Lincoln County Soil and Water, the pollinator pathways, and the grounds crew in the district. So another really exciting thing coming from that group that's been doing lots of great stuff on campus. The high school Envirothon Club competed against 4 other schools with 18 total teams, and we came in 2nd. So that was awesome. It tested their knowledge on wildlife, soil, aquatics, and forestry. So they're headed for hoping for a spot at the state Envirothon in June. They have to qualify for that, obviously. So that's coming next. And students in our advanced art studio at the high school are holding a pop-up art show. So that's something new and exciting our kids haven't done. Plus, obviously, our whole art festival is coming right around the corner as well. So really, really exciting. And then lastly, one more awesome shout out for the high school. Our school counselors are holding their Columbus State help sessions for all students who are scheduled to take CCP classes in the building next year. So that's going to be really awesome for those kids too, as we continue to grow those programs. Might as well talk about the art festival. So that starts on not this Sunday, but the 26th. Kicks off with the high school orchestra and runs through the following Sunday, which also we have our senior awards that Sunday as well on the 3rd, I believe at 6 o'clock. Yep, 6 o'clock. So that whole week will be anything you want to see, any bit of music and art. So I definitely encourage you, if not for your own children, just to come over and check out what's happening on any day. You can pretty much go to the high school on any day and a little bit of the middle school too. I think they've got some concerts going on there as well.
Don't they have sports signing after?
Yep, sports signing is after the academic awards on Sunday night, the 3rd. We are having our annual wellness 5K. It is on May 10th, which is Mother's Day. There will be some special things for the moms there. So if anyone is wants to give back a little bit. We're looking for volunteers to help with the 5K, and I know Kathy's already coming. I think you're announcing, right? As well as I have asked the boosters if they would let us have the concession stand to help us out with that, so we'll be looking for some help in there too. So that is coming up. If you're free or if you have a chunk of your time, maybe some of your family wants to run it, maybe you want to work it. So that is that. Next, I wanted to pass around this picture. I'm going to take one. And so there has been, construction has already started on the new media production lab at the high school. The new anchor desk was recently delivered.
Oh, cool.
So this is obviously, this space is going to support our new video production classes, but it's also going to be used for clubs, to help with our stadium video board for games, student-produced newscasts. Other programs and buildings will be able to produce video content in the space as well. We're going to use it for podcast, and we'll be starting a new district podcast called The Warrior Way, and that will begin this summer, so you can kind of something to like look forward to. A lot of this equipment is being funded, the larger stuff, through CTEC, which is really nice. And then Ross has also been working alongside of Jeff. They've been doing a lot of auctions. We won a $18,000 studio lighting control system for $500. This has nothing to do with this room, but Jeff also won the bid on the new video wall. How many panels do we have now? Did you get, Jeff?
I got 160 panels. I got 450 square feet of video wall.
So if you know the video wall in the high school, unfortunately, they don't make that anymore. It's a whole thing, and it's breaking slowly. It's very disappointing considering it's not that old. So now we will have replacements for
The rest of the time.
I mean, yes. So it's just a shame to have such an amazing thing that the high school uses all the time,
Right.
and then it's starting to
that
go
is
out, and yeah,
And
it's
I also spoke to Ross. He's going to use them some in the studio too, since we have so many panels they're going to build some video on that as well.
so lots of good. And this whole project is being designed and constructed in house, and Ross does have a lot of his hands in this, trying to do things. Working with people he knows that to get equipment for less expensive, and he's actually headed to DC tomorrow to pick up all the equipment from the first auction. He's driving there. I told him he's crazy, but anyways, he's going. So that is that. And then lastly, I wanted to give you kind of a summary on our March finance session that we had, the community meeting. So the one thing I like is that in these small groups, everyone takes notes, and then we put it all together to kind of look for commonalities and things that we can focus on, or ways to improve moving forward. So, I mean, of no surprise, this is to me, all of this was, I was like, yep, that makes sense. One of the largest issues that we kind of heard in a lot of the groups was the language barrier, like not understanding what is the 20 mil floor, even what is a substitute levy, per pupil expenditure, just the terms that so often get utilized when you're discussing school funding, and how can we break that down into simple explanation so people understand, when Rick talks about that 20 mil floor, what does that mean? Why does that impact our funding? Visuals and real dollar examples are needed. So they want to see, and these are some things we'll be doing in the weeks and months to come, like examples, pie charts, graph, just simple things that show exactly, where does the money go, how it breaks down into, staffing versus supplies, just all the different ways we can help educate the community and show that. Mr. Miller brought this up previously at a board meeting, but this is something that came in with some of the groups as well. Like, people want to us to meet them where they are. Now, I don't know where they are is, but that is definitely something that was talked about, how we can gather in other informal spaces to share information. So that's going to be something we're going to try to navigate. And again, any ideas you have, and we'll bring that up again next week, would be appreciated. But they also talked about key communicators with consistent messages, and then short form videos, which we've already started working on, and we'll continue to work on those. Ongoing communication, not just when we're in trouble or levies on the horizon. So basically, sharing more of our financial stuff, over the course of the school year, as opposed to just in certain periods of time. Telling a comparative story. So again, comparing us to local districts, sharing things about our district in comparison to our peers, to our comparable districts. So those are all great things we're going to do. Quite a few people talked about trying to, we try to explain to them, like, we don't know the House, you don't know the House bills are for sure until they're signed, and it goes through both the, the Senate and the House and to the governor. So trying to help clear up those rumors and get that information in the community's hands as soon as possible. So I don't disagree with that, but we have to make sure we have the right information before we start sharing out. Let's see. And then one big thing they talked about is protecting what the community values the most, which I completely appreciate. In these conversations, like, we can't get rid of teachers, we can't get rid of support staff, and I don't disagree with that statement. Specifically after you watch the presentation from Karen, how would we even do that? At the same time, between 81 and 85% of a district's budget is staffing and salary and benefits, and that's just the reality of public schools. So, and then lastly, if you turn to the last page, kind of like next steps of, things we're looking at, developing like kind of a plain language glossary for like key finance terms, trying to help put that on the website, also share things out, just kind of looking at a visual refresh. Like, I do think some of the ways we've shared things recently in our community meetings have been easy to understand and easy to read, and so continuing with that. Creating a communication calendar that's year-round for things we're going to put out each month. Community outreach expansion, which we're, I just talked about and continuing to do with, off-site engagements. And then obviously, again, the videos and FAQs. So I think it was another really great opportunity to get a ton of feedback. I'm really, really hoping we're going to have a strong showing at this last meeting, and will be a chance to get even additional feedback from maybe some new people who haven't come, or additional ideas that have been born from conversations between each of the community meetings. And that is it for me, unless you have any questions that you want me to cover.
Any questions? Okay, item 12, I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes, we are adjourned at 7:07 p.m.